Now, young people are increasingly becoming the targets of online scams, and the team spending more time online over the half term. Tech journalist Georgie Barrett is here with how to keep your children safe. Hello, Georgie. How are you?
Hello. Yes, very well, thank you.
Why are young people being targeted this stuff?
Well, if you think about it, we speak a lot about adults being scammed. You know, it's a huge, huge problem. And let me give you a stat here, Joel. 97% of 12-year-olds now have a mobile phone. So, of course, they're going to fall victim to exactly the same things that we fall victim to as adults. If anything, they can be more vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I've got some sort of top things to look out for, top scams that do the rounds that kids can often fall for.
Okay.
So we've got gaming scams. We've got phishing scams, we've got social media fraudsters, and we've also got catfishing. So I thought maybe I'll sort of break down each one and work through them and talk about some sort of top ways of how you can go about preventing them. So let's start with gaming. Now, gaming scams, maybe you could call them scams, maybe they're just something that kids often fall for. But these are the free apps that you download to your phone or to your tablet, and you start playing the game, and then very quickly you get a pop-up saying, would you like to buy this gaming extra, or you can buy some more currency, or go to the next level, or change your outfit, something like that. And especially younger children, this applies to. They can rack up, hundreds of pounds worth of bills doing this. So my top tip for preventing this from happening is making sure that you head into your settings and you change your settings so that no in-app purchases can be required. So obviously it depends on what kind of phone you have or what kind of tablet you have. This was me doing it on my phone, and I have an iPhone, but it's pretty simple to do. You just need to head into your settings regardless of whatever device you have.
Okay.
And you head in there and you stop any in-app purchases, or you can set up something that means that every time you want to try and do a purchase within an app, you ask for a password, so that you can oversee exactly what your kid's getting up to.
You just end up spending.
Exactly, and it's meaningless stuff. It's a pretend currency and a pretend game, and ultimately kids often just don't know the difference. They just think it's part of the game, and they go yes.
Yeah.
So that's really important to do. So that's in gaming purchases.
Okay.
Let's speak about phishing.
Right.
So phishing is a little bit more sinister, may I say. It's exactly the same sort of phishing things that we get as adults. So maybe this is a text message, it could be an email, it could be a pop-up that comes on your screen.
So phishing scams generally the ones that they try and get you in with a fake sort of email.
Exactly. They pretend to be legitimate.
Yes.
Oh, this is about your sort of parcel being delivered, or your social media account. Or often with kids it can be, you've won a prize. Why don't you enter this contest? You've been the specially selected person. And they're either after details, so they're after your email address or your bank account details, and they're trying to collect that data on you. Now, it's quite hard to find sort of a tech or something that completely blocks all these different things, because they come through many different forms, either social media or text messages, things like that. So this is really about educating and speaking to your kid about how you can go about, recognizing these things. Often, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. If you've won something amazing, just click here. Don't just click there. And also looking out for things like grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, if there's sort of like generic. Exactly. And I mean, it's good for us as well. These are tips that we need to follow.
Honestly, it's the same for me. I fall for it every time. It's the sheer volume of it now. I think that's the problem. It seems like every day you get certainly an email from a fake Amazon account or your bank or whatever, and the text messages as well. It's coming from all angles, so you can understand why people fall for it.
Absolutely, and all it takes is that one time that you do it, and then you've suddenly shared your details, and things can spiral quite quickly. So yes, and then let's sort of speak about social media profiles. So this is people who set up fake accounts on social media and then befriend your child in whatever shape or form. Again, usually to extract sort of personal details from them, bank account details. I mean, in the really sort of sinister end of things, to try and meet up with them. And this is where I really urge all parents to go and explore the parental controls on any kind of social media websites that your kids is using. And obviously there's lots of different platforms out there, and the settings sort of vary slightly from platform to platform. My tip is just to search online, have a little, so let's say they're using TikTok all the time, say parental controls, TikTok, and almost definitely the first thing you come across will give you some really easy step-by-step instructions on what you can do. So some of the things that you can do, like for example, just taking the TikTok example, you can filter what kind of videos they see, what they see on their feed. You can stop anybody who's not their friend speaking to them. You can see who's messaging them. You actually have quite a lot of control with these things, especially if you've got someone under 18. So go use the technology to help fight the bad bits of technology.
It's sort of catching up, isn't it? It's always playing catch up. These tech companies are trying to keep people safe from all of these scams.
That's absolutely right. And then there's catfishing, which is, again, this is probably applies to older teenagers instead of younger kids. And this is when you sort of pretend to be somebody. Often you can end up blackmailing them. So you can pretend to try and be interested in meeting up for a date or something like that. And maybe you share something inappropriate with them, and then they use that as collateral to blackmail you. And very, very tragically, in the past 2 years, we've seen 2 teenagers take their own lives because they've fallen victim to this, and sort of the shame and the embarrassment of it has led them to go to some, a horrific end. So with catfishing, it's so important to firstly not be embarrassed if you've been exposed to something like this, because ultimately you are completely a victim of a crime. And also straight away make sure you block them and report them. That's a really important part of it.
Just get rid of it as soon as you can, honestly. Georgie, thank you so much. I've learned a lot.
Good, I'm
pleased. Everyone else. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
After the break, revealing all about life on the road at 75, Lulu